Hello everyone and welcome to this FPL Double Game Week 29 deadline stream with me, Holly Shand. Apologies for being a little bit late this morning. My computer seemed to be on an absolute go slow. Don't know if it was the computer, don't know whether it was Chrome, but we're on Safari now, so hopefully everything will be working correctly. It's great to see some of you here already. This is the first proper deadline stream that I've done ahead of a deadline. I've chosen probably not the greatest day to do it, with it being April Fool's Day, but we'll see how it goes. Go easy on me, but I'm hopeful that, you know, into next season I can be bringing you these deadline streams every single week, and it is a fine art, so I'm getting the practice in now to give you the very best content going forward. So if you are here, please give the stream a like, subscribe to the channel as well, because all of that will help me to grow the channel and provide you with more content. It's great to see some of you already in the chat, so if you are in the chat, do come and say hello. Got lots to cover today. I've got my bench boost team reveal. My bench boost is active. I thought I was locked. I'm already having second thoughts on captaincy. I'm also looking at maybe even taking an extra hit. It's all on the table right now. I'm obviously going to be going through your questions as well, and at some point I will get the tweet deck open as well, but we have to be very careful today. The nature of the day that it is, we could run into some issues, so I'm hoping that that doesn't happen, but I can see that there's already a fair few of you in, so I really appreciate those of you that have joined me this morning. And because it is a little bit of a quieter stream, hopefully that means that I'll be able to answer lots of your questions today as well, because there's lots of big decisions to make, particularly when it comes to things like Haaland's availability. That's causing a few headaches, particularly for those that were hoping to bench boost this week with Haaland in their side. So we've got a lot to think about. There's already 50 of you in, which is absolutely phenomenal, seeing as, you know, all the big YouTubers streaming right now. So I really am grateful that you've chosen to join me this morning. It's going to be a good one. So first of all then, I want to think about my team reveal for this game week. And I felt yesterday that I was locked in. I'm having second thoughts though. I am having a few second thoughts. So this is the team as things stand. I had one free transfer. I've used 2 transfers. I've taken a -4. I brought in Bruno Fernandes for Odegaard, and I brought in Shaw for Gabriel. I haven't at the moment got enough funds to go back to Haaland. The planned move, depending on Haaland's fitness, is to go from Tony to Haaland in game week 30 for the Southampton fixture, okay? But I'm not locked in on that, because at the moment it looks as if Haaland won't be available for game week 29. That's the latest news that we've got. I'll give you more details on that in a moment. So with that in mind, I'll need to get funds out of my defence, and Ben Mee will be making way at some point. So the thing that I've got to weigh up with Ben Mee now is Brighton and Manchester United this week. Not the greatest pair of fixtures. I am looking to sell him soon as well. Do I take the additional hit this week to improve Ben Mee to another player? And it doesn't have to be me necessarily. It could be Henry as well. Take that hit this week and then look to be able to improve that position. Gets me the funds for Haaland as well. That's what I'm weighing up. Now, I always like to use, I don't know if this is going to load. I'm on a completely different browser to normal. And as you can see, everything's loading really slowly on my computer this morning. I do not know why it's on a go slow. But I do like to reference, I am logged in, that's something. I do like to reference the points prediction tool on Fantasy Football Hub. So if we look at defenders for this week, and we look down this list, there's no Brentford players in the top 20. We're having to go right the way down. So I do feel like Ben Mee, not even in the top 30, it's looking really bad. Henry's there with the predicted points of 5.2. I think Mee is at 5.1. So I could look to improve that slot with a double game week defender. I could get another Newcastle defender because I've only got 2, but is a triple up on Newcastle that attractive? We've got to bear in mind that their double isn't going to come to much later in the season. They're not one of the teams that double in 34. It'd be good to get in a player that does double in 34 as well as 32, which is why West Ham and Fulham defenders start to become quite attractive. And if we look at the predicted points total for this week, Kufal, I'm not convinced on minutes for him, but a really strong prediction this week for him. And then Zuma at 4.4 million. So I could go this week for an additional -4 from me to Zuma, and it gives me an extra player for double game week 34. Remember, I'm going to 3 hit in 32. So what I want to know from you guys is whether you think that's a good idea. And that allows me to go from Tony to Haaland next time around. So Zuma's predicted to score 6.8. So not significantly higher. But Southampton at home, that fixture is really, really attractive. So let me know your thoughts on that. I am going to jump over to the chat and say hello to some of you guys. I really appreciate everyone that's joined. There's over 100 of you. Like, that is so much more than I expected today because, you know, there's a lot of choice out there and I am kind of still learning the ropes on the deadline stream. So, you know, it's fantastic that you're here. Loads of questions in already. And because it is a quieter stream, I'm hoping that I'll be able to answer lots of your questions. Jarrell said, "Hi Holly, great idea to have the deadline stream. Thank you." Big Fat Giraffe said, "Woohoo, Saturday morning deadline stream with Holly." Jarrell is in as well, as is DJSM, Saranic, Mark, Chloe, Sponge, Ruda, AB, Ali, Jackson. So loads of familiar faces in there. Thank you so much for joining. The thing that we need to discuss as well is the situation with Haaland. Because this is, I really do feel for those managers that decided to hold Haaland for blank game week 28, have him for this Liverpool game in double game week 29 as a single game week fixture, and then look to hold him onwards from that as well. Because the latest news that we have is that Haaland is potentially out of the squad for game week 29 with that groin injury that saw him miss the international break. Now, I've not seen... Before I came live, I didn't see any further updates on this to kind of verify whether this is absolutely true or not. I can see that Haaland is trending on Twitter, which is absolutely ridiculous. But this account, let me just get this up for you. FPL Falsey has been leaking news for City in the past. FPL Focal said that he's really good in terms of being able to give that information. That's not even going to show on your screen now, is it? There we go. So basically said on this tweet, this one here, Erling Haaland is out of the squad tomorrow for the game v Liverpool. Groin injury won't be risked. And I do think that that is true. We don't know for sure. We can only go on guesses on these sorts of things. But, you know, Manchester City have got a lot to play for come the end of the season. They've got a double leg tie with Bayern Munich in the Champions League in the coming weeks as well. So it's going to be really important to have Haaland for those fixtures. So I guess if you own Haaland and you're not on bench boost this week, I think it's easy just to bench him. But if you are on the bench boost, you've then got the dilemma of, do you play the bench boost or not? And if you are going to play the bench boost, do you sell Haaland? And I think if you do want to play the bench boost, then selling Haaland has to be part of that. But we do need to bear in mind that double game week 34 is going to be another option for the bench boost with players from Liverpool, Fulham, City, West Ham, Brighton and Manchester United. So we will get another bite of the cherry, but I do feel like double game week 29 is the best week to play that bench boost. So there is the dilemma. But personally, I do think if you're a Haaland owner and you're looking to possibly make that move this week, then you've got to go for it in terms of those transfers that you're making this week. So that's where I am with it. And I think a lot of people will be in that same scenario. Let's head over to the chat then, and I'll keep my team up. I also want to know your opinion on whether I make this move, whether I get Zuma into my squad for Ben Mee, whether you think that is a good move. Big Fat Giraffe says, does anyone know if a Stupinan is definitely playing? We do not have that information at the moment. There were quotes from the manager last time out that potentially we was going to have Zuma, Stupinan. He's basically said some players are fatigued from the international break, but I don't think he meant that there was players that was particularly going to miss out. But with us having a double game week, we've got to bear in mind that that is going to be a factor to consider in there. So it's not guaranteed, but then the same can be said for McAllister and Matoma that have also covered a lot of miles over the break. We've got to bear in mind that is the case for all of them. So it's something that we've got to bear in mind at the moment. So for me, that's where I'm at with that. I think you've just got to run a risk and hope for the best, if I'm honest. Gerald said, currently on a -8. Not sure if I should take Haaland out. Got a feeling he will score, even if he comes off the bench, though. I think because he's not in the squad, I think taking him out if you're on a bench boost is fine. Another question on Haaland from DGSM. To take Haaland out or keep? That's a question. Depends if you're on bench boost or not. Saranic said, should I transfer out Saka for Bruno for a hit? Already did Shaw and March from Odegaard and Botman. I think if you're going to free hit in game week 32, which is a blank game week, then I think it's a good strategy to be tripled up on assets from Manchester United. So for that reason, I would probably take the additional hit. I know selling Saka is hard, but we need to bear in mind Arsenal's fixtures are not great in the short term. So if I bring up the latest schedule from Ben Crellin, hopefully this displays okay for you guys so that you can see all the key information that you need in there. So Manchester United double this week, then I've got Everton, Forest. If you're free hitting 32, then it's Spurs and a double game week 34. West Ham and Wolves before a potential further double in game week 37 as well. Whereas in the same schedule for Arsenal, obviously Leeds at home this week is a great fixture. Then it's Liverpool away, West Ham away. If you're free hitting in 32, you can get Southampton at home. You can triple up on that anyway. Then it's City, Chelsea, Newcastle, Brighton. So free hit 32, I think it's fine to load up on. I think everyone that's free hitting in 32 should be aiming to have 3 Brighton and 3 City players this week. Right, I think the tweet deck is working now. Nothing is working right for me this morning because I'm basically using a different browser to what I normally would. And it's kind of ruined everything for me. But I don't even know how to get rid of that now. I do want to just keep abreast, there we go, of anything that's going on. But we do need to take things with a pinch of salt a little bit because of the day of the year that it is. I can't see anything too exciting going on right now. But because Liverpool City is the early kickoff, then we could get confirmation that Haaland isn't in the squad. But I do think we have to go with the information that we've got already. I'm going to put my team back on the screen now in the meantime so that you can see what I'm on. I'm currently on a -4, could -8. If anyone is on the bench boost, make sure it's active, guys. I'm not really loving how this new bench boost looks. I did prefer how it looked on the old one. But yeah, we've just got to go with it now and see what happens. I'm blown away by the fact that 120 of you were watching and half of you have liked the stream as well. You're really helping me out this morning, so thank you. Saranick says, oh no, I've done that one. Mark says, Gameweek29 locked and loaded with active bench boost. I hope an uneventful deadline stream. Yeah, I'm hoping for the same. I really am. Keep the questions coming, guys. With it being a bit of a quieter one, hopefully I'll be able to get through a lot of them. Shamilaman says Captain Rashford or Matoma. I mean, I'm personally on Captain Rashford because I prefer his form. There are a few question marks on whether either of them will complete 180 minutes. More for Rashford. Ten Hag's comments weren't 100% great yesterday, but for me, I don't think there is a safe captain pick this week with that flag for Rashford still. I think Bruno Fernandes and Solly March are more certain of getting 180 minutes. But captaincy is wide open. But I think I will stick on Rashford because I've always planned to captain him this week. If he does bang and I go elsewhere, then I'd just be really annoyed with myself. Chloe says, I don't have a bench boost, but is it worth doing Saka to Maddison for a hit this week? My midfield at the moment is Rashford, Fernandes, March, Matoma, Saka. It's tricky, that one. I don't like losing the third Arsenal player. I think it's fine to reduce from 3 Arsenal players down to 2 or 1 this week, but going without Arsenal players in general is quite scary, and it's not something that I'd particularly like doing. I think it's more justifiable if you go with a Brighton mid or a United mid than Maddison. But if we look at the predicted points for this week, if I just filter this by all positions, I think Maddison is well up there. He's ranked 5th, 10.1. The Hub prediction tool favours Bruno Fernandes captain. I mean, do I move the armband, guys? I feel like this is when I become a worse FPL manager, when I start streaming. You see, double game week 22, he got 12 points. Double game week 20, he got 19 points. He's only delivered attacking returns in 1 of the last 5, though, and with Casemiro out, you never know if he's going to be down for a more defensive role. Sponge says, thanks for hosting. Rudrat says hello, as does Ali and Ab. Juxon says, worth a -8 for Maddison to Saka and Henry to Shaw. I prefer Henry to Shaw. I probably wouldn't do both. I'd just keep Saka, I think. Tatong. Should I go for Isaac in place of Tony for a -4? I don't think I would do that. Obviously, we run the risk that Tony only plays 1 game because he's on 9 yellow cards. 1 more would result in a 2-match suspension. I think that's why everyone is planning on getting Haaland back in game week 30 with the move from Tony. So I don't think I would do it because Tony is in form. The fixtures are okay. They're not amazing, but they're okay. I would just keep Tony. I feel like I haven't warmed up. I took my daughter to football this morning. That's why I can't really get on for a stream until nearly 10 o'clock. It was freezing. Absolutely freezing. Cavish says, only 1 question is who to captain. Oh, it's a nightmare. It really is a nightmare. You could go anywhere. You really could. I think Brighton mids and United mids have the edge. Let me put a little poll live. Who to captain? We're going to go Man United mid or Brighton midfielder or other. I've seen a lot of Maddisons around. Be good to see how everyone's doing on that. Whether it's changed much since yesterday. Richard says hello, as does Niraj. Thank you for joining me, guys. Shamalan says Captain Rashford or Captain Mitoma. Rashford for me. Cream Pie says hi. Giraffe says bench boost active, no further chips available. Should I bring in Trent Estupinan or Shaw for Gabriel? It depends how you set up for... I've lost the tab now. For the blank game week 32. Because if we look, Liverpool do have a fixture, but Brighton don't, neither do United. So that kind of gives you a plus for Trent, but you also need to be aware of the funds needed to get back to having Haaland in your team at some point. And, you know, if you're getting money tied up in Trent, that is going to make it a little bit more difficult for you. I feel like it's got to the start of the season where a lot of moves are becoming quite team dependent, and it does make things more of a challenge in terms of being prepared for all of those different factors that are going on in our sides. Michael says, why not Leeds players? Just not that confident on Leeds players, if I'm honest. There's lots of different ways you could go, though. You know, we're all just playing the probabilities, but, you know, play your own game. Lots that could happen between now and the end of the season. Leeds, obviously, plenty to play for as well. Karan says, -12 done. Saka, Haaland, Bueno and Ward out for Fernandes, Chilwell, Isaac and Neto. Wow. If you're on a bench boost, though, that could easily be played back in that time. So I don't think you need to worry too much. Grandfire says Ward replacements. Really difficult that. In terms of the replacements in the goalkeeper slot, again, it depends if you're rotating 2 keepers, how many fixtures you need them for. Iverson's there as a replacement. Steele is there, but he blocks the triple Brighton attack. De Gea's there, but he probably blocks the optimal triple up of Shaw, Bruno Fernandes and Rashford. I just wanted to pop over to the tweet deck and see if anything was happening. Can't see anything at the moment. All is quiet. Will we get any really, really confirmed news on Haaland? By the way, guys, there is a good chance that the website could go down before the deadline, okay? So do not leave it too late if you are making moves. If we have a look at the poll, United midfielders, we've had 100 votes, so it's quite good representation. So thank you to everyone that's voted. It's basically everyone that's in, which is crazy. 61% going with a United midfielder, 31% with a Brighton midfielder, 10% going other. Now I'm just going to end this poll for now. I think I'm sticking with Rashford captain, but I do want to know your thoughts, guys. I've had a few more votes in at the end there. I do want to know your thoughts on, let's start the poll, on whether I should make this extra transfer. So it's me to Zuma for a -8. So it's an additional hit. Oh, that's just added a new option. Hang on. This is why I need the practice. You could probably hear my kids outside making an absolute racket. Apologies if you can. Sherry-Ann is saying, is Salah getting overlooked this week for the likes of Bruno and Maddison? I think the problem with Salah is the fixtures aren't that great. Which tab do I need to be on? Here we go. So it's City and Chelsea away this week, then Arsenal. Kind of... if we look at the next little period, so the next, let's look to 31, because, you know, I know a lot of people will be thinking of going elsewhere by 32. Salah's behind Kane, Rashford and Fernandes in terms of predicted points over the next 3 game weeks. A lot of us wanting to hold funds in Haaland. Kane's only got 3 fixtures in that time compared to the others having 4. That's why people aren't going Salah. Chloe said, seen a post saying Haaland is out. Yeah, I think we have to trust that that is correct information at this point. I mean, there's not... Looking at the results of the poll, Metazuma is not getting a lot of love. If I just show you it again. So I'm on a -4 already. I can't get straight back to Haaland at the moment, but if I'm going to sell me to get funds out of Haaland in a few weeks. Funds out for Haaland in a few weeks. But if I'm doing that then, I could do it now because Zuma's got better fixtures this week as well. Is a -8. May not pay off this week. Could pay off in the long run. Keep voting on the poll. I'm still thinking about it, but I need to make a decision soon because we never know when we might lose the site. We'll have Andy Murray rage tweeting. Completely lost my place in the chat now, guys, as well. I do this all the time. Rohit says Henry to Estupinan for a -4. As long as you're convinced that Estupinan's going to start both games, I think that's an okay move. I do. Cameron says, I think Jesus will have a good week this week in FPL. Yeah, I think he could be up for his first start of the year, potentially, in the Premier League. I think he could do really well, bearing in mind how good he was at the start of the season. Leeds at home as well is a nice fixture for a striker. Grandfire has asked about ward replacements. I think we've already done that one, mate. Steve-O said, what is the chance that Pep is doing a little April Fool's joke about Haaland? Can you imagine? It is really unfortunate, though, for anyone that held Haaland. I think it really is. Adam said, is Pope a good keeper choice? Yeah, I think he is. Especially if you've got a different if you've got 2 keepers, 2 starting keepers, and your other keeper doubles in 20... What week was it? 34, isn't it? Yeah, if you've got a keeper from Brighton, Fulham, Liverpool, City, United, West Ham. So it's not that easy, is it? Because West Ham's got keeper issues at the moment. Cameron says he's benched Haaland for this week. Yeah, I think it's the right decision. You basically all told me that my extra hit plan is rubbish, so I'm going to end the poll. We'll stick with how it is. I don't like making transfers on the day anyway. So I feel like I ought to stick by my plans, especially because I've already posted my team reveal as well. Got to stick by it. I like to get locked in early. Jag is thinking of replacing Haaland with Isaac, Havertz or Watkins. I think I'd just go Watkins. Harry Maguire fan said hello. Grandfire said his Ward starting. I don't think so. What I want to just check is there should be some predicted lineups on the hub. If I'm looking in the right place, here we go. These are done by Ben Dinnery as well, the injury expert, so they're normally pretty accurate. Trossard expected to get the nod though for Arsenal. Estupiñán's expected to start for Brighton. I think it's kind of as we expect. I was asking about Leicester, weren't you? Iverson. Don't think there was any specific questions in the press conference, but Iverson's expected to be number one. Alvara's expected to start up front for City. Everything else kind of to be expected in there, so hopefully that helps. Sean said first time on here. Thank you for joining, Sean. First time for me as well, so appreciate you watching along with me today. And you've asked, thinking about swapping Saka and Kane for Bowen and Ings. Any thoughts? I think with that one, I mean, I think you're kind of a little bit too focused on the double game week players. I think if any single game week players are essential this week, Saka and Kane are the ones. In terms of ones that you want to hold long term anyway, I think you've got to think about that in that decision making. Sorry guys, I'm struggling with a bit of a cold. I feel like I've had a permanent cold for about 6 weeks now, so I know I'm a bit sniffly. Hopefully you can put up with that. Light race, Saka to Maddison for a -4. Don't think I would do it. Maheen said, who would be the best Haaland replacement, given I've already taken a -4? I think you need to ignore the fact that you've taken the hit. I don't think that is significant in here. Get the right tab. Here we go. Back on the hub. If it's going to load. I've no idea why my computer is running so slowly this morning. Normally it doesn't miss a beat. Right, predictions, here we go. Is it going to load for me? I don't think it's going to do it. I mean, it depends who you own already. Like, Watkins is a good option, but you probably own him already. Isaac. You could go differential, though, as well. I don't think it's going to load. Let's go back to my team. It's a good job I'm not needed to make transfers late in the day. I'd have to do it on my phone. Steve-O said, I had Haaland going to bench boost this game week, so I sold him. Going to bring him back in a couple of game weeks, sold for Watkins. Yeah, I think that's a wise move. Yeah, glad to see in the chat I'm not the only one with a permanent cold at the moment. It's so annoying. And it obviously talking for an hour isn't going to help, but gotta keep going with the content. Content comes first. All quiet on the tweet deck at the moment. You know it'll turn to carnage in the last 30 minutes. It's the calm before the storm. Mark says, thoughts on bringing in Shaw for Henry over Zinchenko? I think that's okay. It depends on what funds you need going forward. Which player's got more utility for you in the coming weeks. Ariane says, Henry to a Estupiñán 0.9 short on Haaland next week, or Raya to steal money for Haaland next week. Probably Raya to steal would be the one there. Vijay said, already subscribed, just like, thank you very much. It all helps the algorithm. I mean, there's 130 watching right now and 113 likes, so I cannot complain. You guys are doing an absolutely sterling job for me this morning, and I really do appreciate it. There we go. We've got the little like and subscribe on there now. Jugson, is it worth a -8 for Saka to Maddison and Henry to Shaw? No. Nelson, thinking of taking a -4, but who would you recommend to transfer out? Odegaard for Maddison or Zinchenko for a double game week player? Free hit 38. Possibly Odegaard to Maddison then. There's so many headaches this week though. I can see why people are struggling. It's not made easy for us at all. Steve-O says, any news on Botman? I know he's spotted in training. Yeah, I think he's expected to be fine. Not an issue at all. Yazim is asking in captaincy. Bit of a roll of a dice, if I'm honest, this week. As you can see, I'll go Rashford over Matoma. I like March as well. I like Fernandez as well. Yaya says, can you put in a free hit team? Yeah, if I could get the hub to load. Then they've got a best team. They do a best team each week on the My Team tour. Alright, so it's loading now, look. I'll leave it for a moment. I'll come back to it, Yaya. Honestly, I'm about to throw this computer out the window. I don't know what it's doing to me this morning. I'll keep trying for you, mate. To be honest... No, I've not still got it. Hang on, I've got a plan. If we go on here, I did do a free hit article earlier in the game week. I give up. I honestly give up on this computer today. I'm going to have to like get it working out ready for next week. Will said, should I play me or Gabrielle? I would play me. Oh, that's tricky. You've got about the double game week there, haven't you? 180 minutes. I'm just going to see if I can get it opening for Yaya on another tab and then at least I can bring it across. The fantasy gods are not with me today. Hopefully my game week goes a bit better than this. Absolute nightmare. Here we go. Right. If this loads, we're in luck. Here we go. We're in. We're in. So this is the Hub's predicted best team for this week. If it's going to let me scroll, please do. Here we go. So it's triple Brighton with Steele, March and McAllister. Fernandez in there. This is before the Rashford news. Double Chelsea fullbacks. So hopefully that's helpful, but I think it will have changed now because of the injury news that we've had in and the fact that Rashford's available. Here we go. It works. Not too much difference. Madison's in. Kufal's in. Hopefully that's useful. Chris said, morning Holly, Captain Salah or Rashford? I'd go with Rashford. AB's asking for Haaland replacements. Let's give it another go. Why not be ambitious? I feel like things are suddenly loading like an absolute dream. Probably need to be nicer to my computer. This week in particular, the top Predicted forwards are Ings, Felix, Tony, Watkins, Isaac. If you look a little bit longer term, Kane comes into the equation. Watkins and Ings still in there. I think Ings and Watkins should be the ones to consider. Ings is going to be helpful for double game week 34 as well. Tom says, how do we know Haaland not in the squad? So I put it up earlier. It was a tweet from an account called Foulsy. But let's keep an eye on the tweet deck as well. Give this a little refresh. I mean, this is painful, guys. Normally my internet is so good as well. Got like a terabyte. Doesn't seem to be anything coming through to say otherwise at the moment, but you know, it's early days. If you see anything, let me know in the chat as well. But if you can like tell me what the source is as well, then at least we could go verify it. Who knows? But at the moment, we just need to trust the information that we've got in front of us. Cam says, I'll be keeping me myself because I have value in him. I got it before he started being good. I don't think I've got any value in him. I don't think he has been good for me. Let's have a look. Yeah, not a lot. I think I got him on wild card. I've had a 1, 2, 7, 2, 1. The KM says, have I made a mistake by -8 bringing Maddison, Ings and Isaac? Too late now. Too late. If you've done it, you've done it. Let's just hope it pays off. Luke says, Bruno or Maddison for Son, help please. Gotta be Bruno for me. Mike says FPL Raptor convinced of the Haaland outsourced. Yeah, and FPL Focal endorsed it last night as well, so we have to go with that information now. Rudrat says, I have both Martinelli and Saka. Yeah, I mean, I think I would lose Saka more than Martinelli because of the funds, because I feel like they've got a similar points potential at the moment. Sorry, let me put my team back on, guys, so that you can see that. Here we go. Barstow says Rashford or Salah captain. Rashford for me. Zayed says, should I start James? He's back in training. I mean, it's a coin flip on James and his injuries. It really is. Just own the decision is all I can say. Light Ray saying Haaland being heavily sold right now. Yeah, comes with the territory, doesn't it? I think last time I looked, he was down to about 75% ownership. So whether that's changed a lot since then, that was last night. Let's have a look. 72.4. So it's going down. Just goes to show you how many active teams there are, though. Soyug said, if Haaland isn't playing, who to start, Kane or Saka? That is really tough. The algorithm prefers Kane. I've started Kane in my 11 over my Brentford defenders and Saka, so kind of tells you my thoughts on that one. So it is a tricky one to weigh up though, guys. I understand all of these dilemmas are not easy. Sherry-Ann, planning a -8. Ward to De Gea, like that. Tarkowski to Estupinen, like that as well. Saka to Salah. That's the bit I don't like. I think it's fine to go Saka out, but I prefer the Brighton mids and I prefer the United mids. But if you're already tripled up, then Salah could pay off. Tricky one now, really tricky. Can see the dilemmas that a lot of managers are facing this week. Thank you again now to everyone that is joining me today. If you haven't hit that like button or subscribed to the channel yet, please do. Seen some crazy growth on the channel. I'm hoping to get to 20k subs by the end of the season. I'll admit it is ambitious at the moment. I'm quite a way off, but you know, anything that you guys can do to help is really appreciated. I think I've maybe just crossed 17.3k, which is brilliant. So thank you. Rudrat says, who to remove out of Martinelli and Saka? I would remove Saka for funds. Sorry, I'm so bugged up. FPL Guy says, why do I feel Zuma will haul this game week? I've decided not to go with him. Am I making a bad decision? It's a stressful deadline, this one. Tom says, don't know if this is an April Fool or not, I've seen a photo of Haaland stepping off the coach on Twitter. I don't believe you at the moment, Tom. Don't be offended. If you want to share the handle that's posted it, then go for it. Let's get the tweet deck up, see what's going on. Give it a refresh, because we know we're not the quickest this morning. Lots of team reveals. Salah could become the first Liverpool player to score against City in 4 different games if he nets at the Etihad this afternoon. How's that for a start? I mean, famous last words, but it's very quiet out there at the moment. Not a lot going on. Haaland is trending though on Twitter. Tim, I captained Solanke. Hat-trick incoming. Billion assists as well. You do like a Cherries player there. Cameron says, I'm planning to do Kepa to steal when I get the chance. Kepa's not been bad though. I'm quite loyal to Kepa. I can't remember when I brought him in. I think I brought him in on the unlimited transfers and he's got a 9, a 10, a 9 and a 10. It's been a bit more bleak in recent weeks, but still coming up with the saves. Abdisman says, Captain McAllister. Get permission to do that. So it's a good week to be different with captaincy. Sorry, I've just realised I've not even got my team on the screen again. This is why I need the practice. Tim says people are sleeping on board with 2 home games. Yeah, there could be. Barnu, I did Almiron to Salah. It's a big move. How do you get back to Haaland? Chris is stuck on Salah or Rashford captain. Rashford for me is an easy one. Mike, would love your prediction on points for this week. What do you say? My record on a bench boost is 184. But I did have 15 doublers. I mean, a lot depends on captaincy. If you get that right, that can really help. I'd be thrilled if I broke 150 though. I don't know if I even have gone as far as 150 other than that one week. Barnu, no free transfer remaining. I have Zinchenko, Saka, Martinelli, Kane. I'd lose Zinchenko and Saka. Cameron says, now that Rashford has a break, I think he'll start scoring goals again. Yeah, I hope so. Draft would love you to discuss goalkeeper options for those of us who have Ward and bench boost. Iverson, Steele. Don't think you could go West Ham. Ray says, I spun a wheel for captaincy 100 times and got Rashford the most 36 times. It's a bit more psychological, this one. But one strategy that you can do if you're really torn on captaincy is flip a coin. And you will know when that coin lands what you want it to land on. It's not necessarily the outcome of the coin, but the outcome of your desire. We're up to 125 watching now, so thank you so much to everyone that has joined in this morning. I'm just going to give it a little push on Twitter. Give it a look. I might do it on my phone actually, instead of using a computer. Johnny says, do you have the flu? I've got something. But yeah, I know it's probably not that pleasant to listen to as well. Yeah, basically anything that you can do, anything you can do to support the channel will allow me to do more of these. I'll be back again on Easter Saturday for one as well. Tie 16, Captain McAllister, Rashford or Maddison. I would rate them Rashford 1, McAllister 2, Maddison 3. If that's of any help to you. But I know there's a lot of advice out there this week, guys. And, you know, a lot of content creators are doing crazy things with captaincy. They may be doing some crazy things as well in terms of selling Arsenal players, selling Kane. Do what's right for your team. Don't just do it because I'm telling you that I think that's the better option. It's your team at the end of the day. You need to make those final decisions. Still looking quiet on the tweet deck, but I will jump over to it soon. See what's going on. I feel like I need to keep it open now because if we do get any leaks, now's going to be the time. Whether we can trust them or not on April Fools, I don't know. This is always an interesting one. The Manchester Evening News predicted lineups. You're absolutely bringing the questions to me today. I don't know if I'm going to get them all answered pre-deadline though. Especially if things start kicking off with leaks. I mean, imagine if we got a leak now that Salah was benched or something crazy. So, this is quite telling that none of the City journos are saying that Haaland's going to start, just to back up what we've already had. Gonna keep refreshing. Peter said, my GW29 team is locked. Took a -4. Same as me, good luck. Cam says, don't forget United play tomorrow, so he's got an extra day to train. Yeah, it does help. Is the website still working? That's another thing to... Yep, all seems good at the moment. I'll keep checking out on my phone, actually. Let me know in the chat if it does go down. I will try and get through as many more of your questions as I can. I'm back on to Villa 30, so I'm probably a page or two away. Is there a reason why Harvey Barnes is being overlooked for Maddison? I think Maddison is enough of a differential that means that people aren't necessarily looking at Barnes. But Barnes is a good differential in himself, and you know, even a double up could work, but it's just our midfield slots are really in demand at the moment, which doesn't help. Sherian, planning a -8, Ward to De Gea, Tarkowski to Estupinard, Saka to Salah. I think I've already given that a seal of approval. Peter says, Emerson Royale out for Shaw, Odegaard out for Maddison. They look okay. They do look okay, but hopefully you've still got an Arsenal mid. A lovely comment from Saranic. Thank you. Thank you for the content. Appreciate that you're here. Really am. Anyone that's taken a punt on me today, given that we're just trying it out, see what happens. I do really appreciate you joining. I wasn't expecting to have as many of 100 people in. You know, this content creators have been streaming all season. They've got their streams live, so taking a punt on me today, I do appreciate it. I'll keep flicking back to my team as well, because the bench boost is active. Helps if I scroll down. Soyeg said start Saka or Kane. Kane for me. AB says Havertz in for Haaland. Bruno Fernandes in for Pereira. Thoughts? Yeah, I'd make that move. Chloe says the dilemma is Arsenal have bad fixtures and Maddison would only be a short-term option. Yeah, I get that. I do get that. 12 minutes to deadline. And it's looking calm. I think I'll keep on the tweet deck now, guys, because hopefully you've all seen my team. I'm going to just try and get through as many questions as I can, but I don't think I'm going to get them all done. Will is on a 3-5-2 this week. Should I go Kane in for Tony and buy Shaw for me? No, I wouldn't do that. Oh, Kane in for Tony, though, could be a single game week. Potentially. You know, it could pay off. Go with your gut. Mark says I should make the Zuma move. I think I've already made peace with the fact I'm not doing it. Oh, it's too late in the day now. I feel like it'd be a rash decision. Sean is on Salah captain. Love it. Yeah, I love this. Betting Tony gets a yellow card in the first game. It's like FPL insurance. I do that a lot. Peter says Mo Salah is my captain as well. Parameter is thinking between Rashford or Fernandes. I think Rashford's the one for me. Gaurav says Neto or Kepa. I think I'd go Kepa. Shyamalan, Kepa clean sheet this week. Travis says Bruno for differential captain. Yeah, that's fine. Sean, wonder what Tony is betting on for captain. Ahmed, already have 3 Brighton mids. Rashford and Saka. Would you change one for Bruno? I think if you could get Saka to Bruno, I think that could pay off. I don't like Salah captain, but, you know, if you fancy it, go for it, Mark. Josh says Martinelli to Bruno. I think that's okay. Do you have another Arsenal mid? Adam has asked if Pope's a good keeper choice. Yeah, I think that's fine. Tell you what, I'll get through these questions now, guys. I've lost my place in the chat though. As per. Yeah, I'm not as far through the questions as I thought. Like, I'm a long way off answering all of your questions. It was just where the chat was. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to jump to the questions coming in now, so that those that are still here are getting them answered. So Richard has said Saka to Maddison for a -4. Personally, I don't really like that move. Felix has said, will Rashford play this week? Yeah, he's thought to be fit and ready to start. I honestly thought there would be more carnage. I know we've still got 8 minutes. But the website still looks to be working fine. Team's back on the screen now. Nothing's crashed. I've just knocked my mic though, but we can deal with that. I think there is some incorrect leaks coming through. I've muted anyone that gives us false news though. Cal says start Haaland or KDB. Haaland is not thought to be in the squad, so. FPL Hackers, thanks for joining, mate. Best double game week mid under 7.5 million. See what the Hub's got to say. I mean, the Hub likes Gibbs White, but I don't know whether I would personally. 7.5 million. Filler it down. Let's have a look. Brighton meets Gibbs White, Barnes. There you go. Let's get the tweet deck back open. Still all quiet. Sherry-Ann said, thanks for the deadline stream, Holly. You should do it more often. Yeah, that is the plan. Magical Man, would you say it'd be dumb Captain Maddison over Rashford? Today's a fine week to take a punt on the captaincy. I mean, I prefer sticking with the Brighton or the United mids, but, you know, fair play to anyone going different if it comes off. Brennan Johnson is, I think it was a late fitness test for him. MB, what was your question? Oh, Maddison a must? No. Already moved Tarkovsky to Zuma, Kilman to Ricardo. Worth doing Odegaard to Maddison for a -8. If Odegaard is your only Arsenal midfielder, I would just hold him. So I've got half an eye on my phone just in case anything comes up on there that isn't coming up on the tweet deck. So often I get people letting me know little tidbits of early news. Still got time to answer some questions though. Still 5 minutes left, so do get them in. Summit says, should I go Martinelli to Maddison and have 11 double game weekers, or play Saka and 10 double game weekers? I think I would play Saka. Jim says, is Saka not starting? I've not seen anything about that. Team news and tips as Tix has posted something on Instagram. Let's see what it is. Is it a reel? Don't know. This is sorry not available. Oh, here we go. Erling Haaland doesn't start for City. There we go then. I think that's as good a news as you're going to get. Confirmation. Pretty much. Oh, is it? There's a story. I can't even show you it because I'm not logged in on Instagram, but yeah, that is it. So if you are on a bench boost this week, I think I would now sell Haaland for an Ings, a Watkins, something like that, an Isaac. If you're not on bench boost, then you've got Haaland, then maybe just bench him. Ings in for Tom, like that. Who's spreading rumours on Saka? Do Arsenal even play today? I don't know. It's probably just an April Fool. Can't see anything on Saka. Is that match today? Taku says Keita Isaac for a hit. No. I wouldn't do that. We're 2 minutes away from deadline, guys. Let's put my team back on. Just so you can all see it. So if you haven't got the bench boost active yet, get it active now. Else you're going to miss out. That's what I would advise. It's been interesting to say the least. Not as bad as I thought. I don't know what's going on with Saka. Can't see anything particularly. Too late now anyway. Deadline will have gone. I'm holding him. Right. Good luck then, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me. I think I need a 10 o'clock start because it was a bit of a rush to get started for 9:45. But I really appreciate everyone that's taken the time to watch today, and I am going to try and do these regularly for you guys as well. I will be back next week with another one. So thank you so much for joining me, and good luck for FPL Gameweek 29, particularly if you're on a bench boost this week. It is a big game week ahead, and I really hope that we all have a good one. I'll be back with more content next week as well.